Nest 2.0. Phil Libin discusses Skitch, MoviePass now in beta, and the iPad of 1983. It's Wednesday, October 3rd, 2012, and this is iWake. I'm Tim Chaten, and this is what's going on in the Apple world today. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of iWake. So, I just realized this today that October was the month that iWake started a year ago. So, I'll remind you guys when that time in the month is where it'll be the year anniversary of iWake. So it's coming up, and that's kind of cool. First off, on the show today, I just have this question I just want to pose out to everybody, and just to get your mind thinking here is, am I the only one that thinks the white, the iPod Nano in white would be insanely awesome with this latest revision? That we've had white iPhones. This new Nano looks very much like an iPhone. Is it because of its aluminum that it might not work in that color? What are your thoughts? Could we see a white Nano resurface? Has that anybody excited, or is that just kind of craziness? And perhaps we do see a white Nano with a white front, as I think they all are with the silver back. I think that would be sort of like the white Nano of old. So just a thought I had, and just wanted to throw that out there. Next up on the show today, I've got some things related to the Nest Thermostat. It is now at version 2.0. A new hardware version came out. Before we get to that, we had an interesting interview with Kevin Rose and the creator of, or one of the guys on the team of Nest. Matt Rogers sat down with Kevin Rose, and they're speaking about the upgrade Nest hardware. They were also talking about his time in Apple in 2004, and he was talking about, the firmware-based solution for the iPhone with a click wheel. And it's a really interesting discussion where they talk about the working click wheel iPhone, that this was a real product that they were testing out, and it's a great discussion. It's about 25 minutes long. It's linked to in the show notes here, and if you have time, go out and watch this video. It is very, very cool. Related to that is, of course, the Nest 2.0 launch. So what is new about this Nest? Well, the first thing is cool to see is that Nest is taking the Apple approach of, let's do yearly updates to the Nest. Let's make it better. Let's continue to make it better. Sort of like the iPod approach of, let's do second generation. So second generation is 20% thinner than the first generation. It's a stainless steel outer ring that reflects the pattern and color of the surrounding wall. So it's trying to camouflage itself into the wall based on some clever hardware design. Instead of a sensor grill on the bottom of the Nest front panel, there's a smooth lens that doesn't break up the device's pattern. In addition to these, there's also some increases in compatibility. The Nest now supports nearly all heating and cooling systems in the United States. Up to 95% of homes now support this. It supports second stage cooling, third stage heating, dual fuel emergency heat, whole home humidifiers, and dehumidifiers. So lots of new stuff as far as compatibility and capabilities. On the software side, the new Nest shifts with the updated software, which is also available for the old Nest. Its 3.0 software has a system match feature that adjusts behavior based on the type of heating and cooling system, and has an improved auto away feature that's better at knowing when users are out of the house. Nest Heat Cool mode, formerly called Range, now supports automatic temperature adjustments as well. Besides that, the Android app has been made more fast and reliable, and has added compatibility for the Kindle Fire. There is, of course, an iOS version of the app as well. So it's shipping very soon, if not today. $250 with the old Nest, the first generation, only $20 off at $130, and I believe Amazon is selling them now for $150. So if you want a Nest, the first generation, $150 on Amazon. So very cool stuff. Nest is the learning thermostat, and it's a really cool piece of kit and software. And if you own a home or apartment or whatever you live in that you have a need for a good thermostat, Nest is the way to go. Next up is some app news. To lead it off is a very cool interview Phil Libin did with The Verge about Skitch. Phil Libin, as you know, is the Evernote CEO, and they acquired Skitch just a year ago. And they've been doing some radical changes to it recently. With version 2.0, it feels like a whole new app that is in many ways worse than the original. So here's Phil Libin's words. Our vision for Skitch hasn't changed at all, and the core beliefs of its founders are still aligned with ours. We did a full rewrite of Skitch and we didn't take anything out. There's just some stuff we haven't put back in. We have to draw some lines and ask, what is Evernote not? And what is Skitch not? Skitch has never been and is not about to start becoming a drawing tool. People want multiple brush types and photo editing tools like Dodge and Burn, but that's very low priority for us. A bigger priority is highlighting the app's key feature, like an upcoming menu bar icon that consolidates Skitch and Evernote into one. Other features like short URLs are perceived to be less secure and likely aren't coming back. So first off, it is good to hear that the menu bar icon is coming back, as that was something that was really a cool thing with Skitch. So besides that, Phil Libin also states that we got feedback, but we don't think the world needs another MS Paint. We want to be the antidote for 20 years of passive-aggressive emails. At our new office, they installed the sign wrong, so I took a picture on my phone, drew arrows in Skitch, and then told them, this is what we ordered, and this is what we got. Instead of having one giant email between me and our designers, we had one Skitch document. Evernote has traditionally been a private and personal way to store documents, but that's only half of the puzzle. If Evernote is a single-player video game, then Skitch is the co-op mode. We kept the branding because Skitch is the extroverted brand of Evernote. If we try to force everything to be consistent, then you end up with the least common denominator. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, Emerson once said. The only criteria is excellence. We make everything for us. We make products that we want to use every day to work better and to live better. So that is the interview with Phil Libin, and some interesting points here. It is encouraging to see that they are not blind to the fact that there are features that are not in this current version that need to be. The menu bar icon is a critical feature that they are making even better, and I have hope for this app. It really was a great app. Now it's an okay app, and hopefully it'll be an even better app very soon. The other app story of the day is about the Flip camera. There's now an app version of that. The developers behind the Flip software now have a new social iPhone app to take on video and social cam, to make video editing and sharing easier. According to 2AW, the app is called Give It. It's free in the App Store. New users get 5 gigabytes of online free storage with their creations and begin shooting videos, then edit by combining multiple clips, adding motion effects, music, and transitions. What's cool is that you can highlight a scene as you shoot it and quickly get back to it with a tap. So it seems like a really cool thing if you were into the Flip camera. The same software or the next iteration of that, the next version of that, a version of a design for an iPhone is now on the iPhone. Give It, Givit. Check it out. Closing out the show, we've got a few different things. First up is an incentive program by Rdio. Rdio, as you know, is the $10 a month streaming service, and they're doing something to help grow their subscriber base. They're paying artists $10 for every user they personally tracked that stays around longer than a month. Brendan Benson, Scissor Sisters, and Snoop Dogg Lion have already signed up, but it's not just for big names. Any musician with an Rdio account can sign up. I'm not sure how many people can become an artist. If I can become an artist, I'm not sure, but it is now out there, and very cool thing they're doing. Next up is MoviePass. Now, MoviePass is something that about a year ago we started to hear about. It's this Netflix-styled service for moviegoers in the theaters. So say you want to go to the theater every day of the week and want a all-you-can-eat pass to go once a day to the theaters. That's what MoviePass is, and it is finally out in beta form. And you have to have an invite or request an invite. I have requested an invite and will be awaiting mine to come out here. So here's what it's all about. So far, its iPhone-only app allows moviegoers to reserve tickets, which they then pay for, pick up at the theaters using a prepaid membership card that acts like a credit card. The monthly price is currently invite-only at $30, depending on where you live. Ticket prices in that area, so it may be higher or lower. But like last time, this program is not truly unlimited. It's moving forward without the backing of major exhibitor chains. MoviePass insists that as long as theaters accept major credit cards, its membership card should work there, and the theaters receive full admission price for every ticket. So what are the limitations? First off, it doesn't include 3D screenings. It allows subscribers to see one 2-day movie a day, meaning you can't go back to back to back and see multiple movies in the same day, which, might not have a wide appeal, but there is some need for it. It also doesn't allow for guests. In addition, the ticket buyer's phone and card must be close to each other and within 100 yards of the theater where the ticket was reserved for the geolocation service to work. MoviePass says this is for security, but also stops you from lending your card to someone else you want to give your phone to, unless you want to give your phone to that person. So this seems like a really cool thing. I traditionally go to the theaters a lot. It's not uncommon for me to go multiple times in a week, and I see tons of movies in the theaters. That has diminished as I've been trying to cut back finance-wise, and now just recently saw Looper, but it's been a month or so since I saw my movie before that. So this is a cool service, MoviePass. Just Google MoviePass and you can sign up for the beta, and I'm very curious to see how this turns out. Last of the day is pretty cool stuff. Basically what happened is someone discovered a full recording of a 1983 Steve Jobs speech, and this is about an hour-long speech, or a 50-minute long speech. It's a long speech is what I have to say here. And he actually revealed something that was not unknown to us, but not spelled out as clearly to us, that Apple has actually been working on an iPad-like device since the original Macintosh. That Steve Jobs states that Apple's strategy is really simple. What we want to do is we want to put an incredibly great computer in a book that you can carry around with you and learn how to use in 20 minutes. That's what we want to do, and we want to do it this decade, says Steve Jobs. We really want to do it with a radio link in, so you don't have to hook up anything in you're in communication with all these larger databases and other computers. So Apple eventually did that. It's called the iPad. It came out in 2010, and they had other iterations of this, but the iPad is truly the first device that achieves this goal. They had other devices that you could say were book-like, but nothing quite like an iPad. So this has been in the works for a while, and the iPad to me is what the Mac was supposed to be. The Mac is the easiest to use computer in the world, and a personal computer. Now, the iPad is the most personal computers I can ever imagine. So this is, the iPad is what it should have been all along. So very cool to see this come to fruition, and very cool to see this interview as well, or speech, I should say. You can find that as well in the show notes over at iWakePodcast.com. And with that said, that will do us for today's show. Thank you guys for tuning in or listening in today. You can find the show notes over at iWakePodcast.com. I do videos over at youtube.com/TCHATEN. And finally, if you'd like access to the script I read from as well as bonus content, head on over to iWakePodcast.com/again. It's a $10 a month service that supports this show as well as gives you extra content. So sign up today, iWakePodcast.com/again. Thank you guys for watching today's show, for tuning in. And I'll be back tomorrow for another edition of iWake. Aloha.